The Prologue. When in April the sweet showers fall and pierce the drought of March to the root, and all the veins are bathed in liquor of such power as brings about the engendering of the flower, when also Zephyrus with his sweet breath exhales an air in every grove and heath, upon the tender shoots and the young sun his half course in the sign of the ram has run, and the small fowl are making melody that sleep away the night with open eye. So nature pricks them, and their heart engages. Then people long to go on pilgrimages, and palmers long to seek the stranger strands of far-off saints hallowed in sundry lands, and specially from every shire's end of England down to Canterbury they wend, to seek the holy blissful martyr, quick to give his help to them when they were sick. What is poetry, and what makes it special? If we're capable of answering and understanding these questions, we should be able to answer the similar questions the other art forms possess. For there are no clear limits between them. Although we talk about poetry, it might as easily bleed into theater, or into music, or into dance. But poetry has something that does set it apart from the others, in that it works with something that is very fundamental to human beings: language, words. When we speak, we're trying to communicate things. We also are trying to abstract things and use it to analyze and understand better the world and ourselves. And language, therefore, is such a fundamental tool of how we experience every day, from the most mundane to the most complex tasks. We wake up thinking about how we're gonna structure our day's activities, and we might communicate with our family in order to better understand each other and how to collaborate in all the demands and celebrations that life carries. We use language so much that it becomes something automatic. We do not make an effort when we are thinking, neither when we are communicating, unless it is, of course, something very complicated. But what I mean is that there are many aspects of language that are revealed maybe only when we're learning a new language, when we're trying to express something that was previously perhaps unknown. And this is where Stranger Strands comes. It is the title I have chosen for the podcast, and it is, of course, an extraction from the prologue of Geoffrey Chaucer, The Canterbury Tales. Poetry, in a very simple way, can be thought of a strange use of language. And by strange, I don't mean like some crazy random use of words, but something that reveals qualities that were perhaps unknown, or perhaps we are not conscious of in daily life. We immediately know when somebody is being poetical. We could first talk about the musicality of language. When somebody starts to use rhythm and rhyme in the way he talks, we then immediately switch to a different mode of understanding that reveals patterns that were previously unnoticed. patterns that connect words between each other and between concepts that were previously not made conscious. Therefore, poetry reveals stranger strands, a strange territory underneath the everyday usage of language, but it doesn't just stop there. If it was just a matter of wordplay and some sense of musicality, we could probably agree that it could be relegated to the place of a strange hobby. The place it occupies now, falling from the highest conception that it used to have in our ancients. But poetry goes further. It not only reveals this strangeness in language, but in life itself. The things that were previously unknown, hidden. It takes us to those hallowed territories, takes us on a pilgrimage to what is holy. It is no mistake that most of the religions are based in poetical texts, in a way. It is a language that requires talking about the divine, the transcendental, the hidden. It is a way we approach things that have no material way to be conveyed simply. And thus, it not only reveals that those strange strands underneath language, but also underneath life itself. And that's where it gets its importance as a human practice. Maybe the most relevant practice, in as much as it allows us to understand in deeper ways reality, ourselves, human experience. From this point of view, we can then bring poetry back from the silly pastime that it seems to have become. And from this point of view, we can also then approach the other arts, who try, all of them, through their different mediums, to give us that experience of a deeper sense of truth, of reality. This is why I chose this text as a way to representing the labor of the artist, of the poet, of the writer, of the painter, all in seek of these stranger strands, of the far-off saints, the hallowed sundry lands. That's the search that ultimately befalls all of us, and which through art, understood in its deeper consequences, away from the vague notions of art for art's sake in entertainment that have corrupted the production and the culture of art in our days. And therefore, I want to open this podcast around these discussions, around these themes. Of course, I'll probably talk a lot about poetry, but also many other subjects related to art, and because of art deals with all of human experience, with all the other themes that are of relevance. So I invite you, after this lengthy presentation, to join me in this pilgrimage.